It is my opinion that we constantly hear about racism and racial injustice and those kinds of things because the Democratic Party needs black people to remain angry. Because the Democratic Party has not won the white vote since 1964. Blacks vote often around 95% or so for the Democratic Party, and the primary reason that the Democratic Party pulls the lever for primary reason blacks pull the lever for the Democratic Party is this perception that racism remains a major problem in America. Most black voters, by the way, have no idea about the racist history of the Democratic Party. I didn't know when I was in high school that Democrats founded the Klan. I didn't know when I was in high school that Democrats voted against the 13th Amendment that freed the slaves, the 14th Amendment that gave slaves citizenship, the 15th Amendment that at least on paper gave slaves the right to vote. Democrats voted against all of that stuff. I didn't know when I was in high school that more Republicans as a percentage of the party voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 than did Democrats. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Everett Dirksen, a Republican in Illinois, got an award from the NAACP for how he helped to shepherd the Civil Rights Bill through Congress. I didn't know that Al Gore's father participated in what was then the longest filibuster to prevent the bill from ever becoming on the floor. I also bought into that notion that okay, Democrats used to be racist, but then Republicans switched places with them in the 60s. I bought into that until I found out that of all the Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights Act in the House, of all the Democrats who voted against the Civil Rights Act in the Senate, only 2 switched to the Republican Party, one of whom was Strom Thurmond. George Wallace, who stood in front of the school door as a Democratic governor saying segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, he died a Democrat. Robert Byrd, who was a Kliegel, that means a recruiter for the Klan, he died a Democrat at 100 years old in the Senate. Most of these guys never switch parties. It is a lie. The reason the South became more and more Republican is because the Democratic Party became more and more left-wing, became anti-Vietnam, anti-war, pro-abortion, and the South became increasingly uncomfortable with their allegiance to the Democratic Party, especially since Jim Crow had fallen. If Jim Crow has fallen, why are we in bed with these Democrats? What's the point? And so the South became more and more Republican for a reason that had nothing to do with racism. But that was the line that was fed by so many people, and so many blacks to this day believe that.
There must be a lot of people in the black community, and of course beyond that, that really don't like what you're saying or really don't like you personally.
You know, there are a lot of people in the black community that hate my guts. When I first started on radio, 60 Minutes came, and they wanted to do a segment on me, and they did. And all these black people were saying all these horrible things about Larry Elder, and they got what they wanted. About 3 or 4 years later, 5 years later, 2020 came to do a thing on me. And they said, we're going to talk about the hatred towards you in the black community. I said, well, it's still there, but it's not like what it used to be. And they said, really? And I said, I'll take you to some places. We went to a place called the Serving Spoon, which is a restaurant that a lot of blacks go to. And they stood outside the door and they asked people what they thought of me when they came out, as did 60 Minutes. When 60 Minutes did it, he's an SOB, he's a bigot, he's a self-loathing, he's can't stand him. And this time they went, well, I don't always agree with the brother, but I gotta say, you know, he's making a lot of points. And they didn't get what they wanted. I can tell what happened. It happened about 2 or 3 years after I'd been on the air. There's a restaurant not too far from where I work that I like to go to. And I'm walking down the street to go to the restaurant, and there are a couple of black guys sitting on a wall smoking cigarettes. Larry Elder, one said, I hate you, and I love you. Come over here. So I went over, and we had a talk. And he goes, let me tell you something about you. When you first started on the air, I used to hate your guts. But then I started listening. And the more I listened, I said, you know, this brother's making some good points. You're like castor oil. It don't taste good going down, but it's good for you. Keep it up.
So,
let me see you do that. Well, Trump has done 2 things. The first thing is Trump has made illegal immigration an issue. You ask black people how they feel about illegal immigration, you're going to get a whole different attitude than you get about how white people feel about illegal immigration. There's an economist named George Borjas. He's probably done more work on the effect of legal and illegal immigration than maybe any other economist. He says there's no question that illegal immigration, especially unskilled illegal immigration, takes away jobs from black people and brown people living in the inner city who are also unskilled and puts downward pressure on their wages. Black people know that. There's a wonderful movie in the 70s called Car Wash. It was about a day in the life of a car wash in the inner city, not too far from where I live. And most of the workers there were black. Go to that same car wash right now, and most of the workers there are speaking Spanish. My suspicion is they're here illegally. Those jobs have been taken away by illegal aliens. The other thing that Trump has done is, if you look at polls, most black and brown families living in the inner city, they want vouchers. They want the ability to say, I'm not going to send my kid to a school like Crenshaw High School, which is where I graduated from, about which there was a front page article in the New York Times, in the LA Times a few years ago that said only 3% of kids at my former high school can do math at grade level. That's not a typo, 3%. Now, if you're living across the street from that school, you don't have any money, you're mandated, of course, to send your child to that school. What responsible parent would send their kid to a school where only 3% of the kids can do math at grade level if they had an option? Nobody would. What Trump wants to do is give parents an option. Betsy DeVos is the Secretary of Education. She's a strong proponent of choice in school. And while education should be a local function, at least rhetorically, she can talk about the need to have parents have choices. They're very popular when parents get choices. There's a program in New York City that's oversubscribed, and the results have shown that when parents are able to choose a school for their kid, the dropout rate is better, reading and math scores improve, and the parents' parental satisfaction is through the roof. There are very few programs like that, however, around the country, but those that have had them, when you've looked at the results, they work. And what is the party that wants to tell inner city parents, look, if you don't want to go to a bad government school, we'll give you a voucher, you can go somewhere else? Republican Party. What party is the party saying, too damn bad, you're mandated to go there because of their relationship with the teachers union? The Democratic Party. So why it is, if the route to the middle class is first to get an education, and the Republican Party wants to give you a quality education versus the Democratic Party refusal to do so, why it is that alone does not cause more black voters to rethink their allegiance to the Democratic Party is beyond me. And then you add that this president wants to do something about illegal immigration. It seems to me that that's a no-brainer to think about, why am I still putting the lever for a party that is incentivizing women to marry the government, that will not allow me to send my kid to a better school, and doesn't give a rip about the competition posed by unskilled illegal aliens? I'm going to rethink my assumption to the Democratic Party, and it is happening. According to the NAACP, 21% of blacks are now supportive of Donald Trump. That's a mind-boggling number. That's almost 3 times the support that he got. According to Rasmussen, the number is even higher. Even Gallup is putting the percentage of blacks supporting Trump at higher percentage than the percentage he got when he got elected. And that's pretty extraordinary when you consider he's been called a racist every day for the last 2 years.
So you don't believe that?
Do I believe President Trump is a racist? No, I don't. If he's a racist, he's a bad one. If you're a racist, why would you want vouchers to give parents a better chance of getting their inner city kids a better education? If you're a racist, why would you want to do something about the illegal alien competition for jobs and for wages that open borders create? If you're a racist, why is it that Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, John Johnson, the former head of Ebony magazine, the leading black magazine in the country, all did work with with Donald Trump after the 1975 consent decree that he entered into, in which he settled a class action lawsuit brought by the government claiming that he was discriminating against black and brown tenants. He entered into that decree, Donald Trump did, at the age of 28, running his dad's business. It's often brought up as an example of Donald Trump's past racism. But as I said, all these civil rights leaders still did work with him after that. So they weren't bothered too much by it. I don't know why I should be.
You can't make a deal with these people. They're lunatics. They've gone crazy. They're crazed people. Trump derangement syndrome. There really is that disease. At first I found it to be amusing. Now I find there really is.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy or vision for America, simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS. Introducing Independence. Independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from the mainstream media, independence allows for constructive critical thinking.
I used to hear people on the news say things like,
Donald Trump and the movement he has encouraged are a threat to democracy.
and I instantly believed it. With independence, I now realize the media is run by the Democrat elite, who are a corrupt oligarchy that censors free speech, silences political opponents, supports forever wars, and abandons democracy by anointing its candidates.
Independence may not be for everyone. If you enjoy being lied to about your president's cognitive abilities, support Orwellian totalitarianism, or are excited about communist fiscal policy, independence may not be right for you. Common side effects of independence may include an awakening of rational thought, successfully identifying propaganda, freedom of choice, loss of hatred, anti-narcissistic behavior, and love of democracy.
I used to blindly hate whoever my party was running against. I didn't care about facts or policy because I was hopelessly indoctrinated. With independence, I'm much more interested in policies that uphold democracy, and I truly care about the health of our country and its citizens.
Ask your doctor if independence is right for you, and enjoy your freedoms once again.
Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, ring that notification bell so you know every time I post a new video. Also, please share this video so the truth can reach more people and open more eyes to what's really going on. Ultimately, that'll help free people from the chin boogieing and the lies that they've been conditioned to believe, that they've been digesting and been fed over and over again that we know isn't the truth. And if you like what I'm doing over here, you want to show a little extra love and support, be sure to check out our website, crownandthread.com. That's where you can grab all the awesome clothes you see me wearing in all of my videos, like this one that says spiritual warrior. That means getting up each day, putting on the whole armor of God with the sword of the Spirit, using us to lead more folks to Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. All these are made by my beautiful wife. We got tons of different designs to choose from, Christian, conservative, bunch of different sizes and colors. It's all gooder than chicken and better than butter to me. Of course, I'm biased though, but I'm sure we've got something that you look great rocking or that'll make an awesome gift for someone you love. We also sell some pretty sweet woodworking pieces that are handcrafted by my father-in-law. He makes crosses, hearts, charcuterie boards. You can see a few here on the wall right here. He's been a carpenter all his life, does tremendous work. Nobody does it like him, I'm telling you. So check those out as well. If you'd like to support in other ways, you can buy me a coffee, join our Patreon, hit the little thanks button. All those links are down below, as I'm sure you're aware. But listen, by no means do you have to do any of that stuff. Seriously, just showing up and watching my freckle face for a few minutes, that means the world to me. And I love y'all. And I can't thank you enough for the phenomenal support that you've shown me throughout the years. Seriously. But until next time, I'll be praying for you. Godspeed. I'm gone.